You know, I've got to show you something. I stumbled across this children's textbook, and hidden inside is this, well, it's a surprisingly brilliant method for teaching the very foundation of math. It's so simple, it's just genius. So, it all starts right here. Take a look at this picture. I mean, it just seems like a simple little illustration for kids, right? But what if I told you that this scene with the hungry squirrel and the mango actually holds the key to how we first learn to understand numbers? Yeah, let's break it down. All right, first up, a mango-sized story. And really, it's fitting that our journey into the world of numbers doesn't start with some complicated equation, but with a simple story. So here's where we begin. We've got one squirrel, and that one squirrel has found one mango. Everything is grounded in this really simple, really clear idea, the number 1. But then, of course, something happens. A crow spots that mango and decides to join the squirrel. And here is the key phrase from the textbook, one more. The story is literally acting out a mathematical change. So, 1 plus 1 more gives us 2. The story has just shown us what 2 actually means in the real world. And the pattern just keeps on going. Another bird arrives. And again, the text really emphasizes this core idea, one more bird joins. Every new character just adds 1 more to the total. And now we're at 3. You can see how this builds, right? The story is creating this memorable, logical sequence for how we count up. And they just keep coming. The group grows from 3 to 4, then to 5, and it goes all the way up to 9. And each new animal that arrives represents that exact same simple action, adding 1 more. So, okay, it's a cute story about sharing a mango. We get it. But the real genius here is how this story is engineered to teach the brain a really fundamental concept. And that brings us to section 2, decoding the one more rule. Let's really decode the brilliant teaching method that's been hiding here in plain sight. This is where we see how a story can build a bridge from what we can see to what we can calculate. Now, this is what's so interesting. What you're seeing here is the entire teaching philosophy visualized. On the left, you've got the concrete stuff, a squirrel, a bird, a mango. And on the right, you have the abstract, numbers and symbols. The story is the bridge that gets you from one to the other, connecting the real-world idea of an animal joining a group to the mathematical concept of addition. Let's translate that first scene directly into math. You've got 1 squirrel plus 1 crow, and that equals 2 animals. See how the abstract symbols are a direct mirror of the concrete action from the story? And the next step follows that exact same pattern. We had 2 animals, we added 1 more bird, and now we have 3. This story is literally performing the math equation for the person learning. So here's the crucial insight. The textbook is teaching what we can call the one more principle, and that's the absolute bedrock of counting. Instead of just memorizing that 2 comes after 1, a child actually understands why. It's because it's just 1 more. The story makes this abstract rule feel completely natural. Okay, on to our next section, learning by doing. Because the genius of this method is that it doesn't just stop with a story. The next step is all about making these numbers physical. The textbook explicitly tells kids to enact the story. It encourages them to become the squirrel, to be the crow, to make the sounds. This is something called kinesthetic learning, connecting a physical action to an intellectual concept. And that makes it stick in your memory so much better. And this is just a brilliant illustration of how the same idea can be reinforced in different ways. The mango story is all about adding 1 more. But then the circle game, which is also from the textbook, has kids form groups of a specific number, let's say 4. It's the same core concept of quantity and grouping, just applied in a fun, social, and physical game. So this slide basically lays out the entire learning path. First, you watch the story. Then you physically act it out. After that, you play a game that reinforces the same idea. And finally, you practice it yourself, with your own fingers. It's this masterful progression from a shared story to a personal calculation. So you might be asking yourself, why go through all this trouble? Why not just show kids a plus sign? Well, that brings us to our final section, why a story works best. The answer lies in the unique power of narrative. Here's why this works so incredibly well. A story provides context. The number 2 isn't just a symbol on a page. It's a squirrel and a crow. It also engages emotion. You're curious about who's going to get the mango, and that makes the lesson memorable. It also breaks a complex idea like addition into a simple, step-by-step sequence. And in a classroom, it creates a shared experience everyone can refer back to. And this isn't just my interpretation. The source material itself tells teachers to do this. This quote here, "Talk about counting numbers as the animals join," it reveals the entire strategy. The conversation, the story, and the math are all woven together intentionally. It's a brilliant piece of pedagogical design. So the next time you're trying to wrap your head around a complex topic, whether it's quantum physics or a new business strategy, just ask yourself this: what's my mango story? How can I turn these abstract facts into a simple, concrete narrative that just makes sense? Because as we've just seen, sometimes the simplest story can teach the most profound lesson.